Hey guys, this is Jella and welcome back to my channel. We are now part 15 in our Korean town series where we will be making a small modern apartment beside the neighborhood of our town. If you want to build this too, then keep on watching. So for our part 15, we will be making another apartment building beside the neighborhood. This apartment is kind of a modern style compared to the apartment building we made in part 12. So I wanted to make the rooms into a studio-type apartment layout. And since the building we have here is small, we can only fit one apartment room in each floor. Instead of making this into one big apartment building, I decided to do an empty building on the side so it would look like complex buildings even though from the back side it is skinny. So the left building here that you see will be empty because look at the size. We cannot fit a room in here after we place a staircase. So basically, this is just for additional building design in the town. I also wanted to add a building number. That's why we have two buildings. Anyways, just follow the building layout until you reach the 4th floor. The back side of the building has some empty spaces that passes outside the plot, so I just closed it off with the fence wall that we have been adding for the rest of the town. Since this is an apartment building, we will add a parking area and I made this front space for the parking of the tenants. We can only fit 3 cars in here, so the other tenants probably don't have a car to use or they could just park on the sidewalk. I don't know, but let's not think about that. I moved the tree and the plants that was in this corner and then deleted the whole sidewalk space. Now copy the road texture and extend this to the whole parking space and outdoor apartment area. I'm using the plain fence marking for the parking spaces. Color this with pale yellow shade and change the texture the same as the road so it would look like a painted road marking. Now we will add a parking bumper using the small box. Color this the same as the fence markings and then resize it to the widest possible. Since it cannot reach the size that we want, add another small box. So we will use 2 boxes for each parking space. We have a planter on both sides of the parking, so place down the plants that we originally have in here. If you want to add more plants, feel free to do so. I'm also adding a soil flooring in this planter, so if you are having difficulty in placing the floor pin, just move the stairs to the side and place the flooring to make sure it won't glitch on the road. I added some more plants to the right planter since it is empty. If you want to use other bushes, feel free to use the ones you like. I also copied the steel cable railing that we used on the main road and placed it here for safety purposes. We don't want the cars to accidentally smash through the apartment entrance, right? Anyways, for the entrance door, again I'm using this commercial double door. This is my favorite to use for shops and other commercial buildings. I colored this light shade of gray to match the light color of the building. Then I added this thin vertical window on the sides of the door to make this wide looking. I know this is a modern apartment, but I wanted to add an awning for the entrance door, so I used this awning and colored this brown with corrugated metal texture. I wanted the roofing to look like steel texture just to make an accent to our plain building exterior. As I mentioned earlier, I wanted a building number on this apartment, so I used square structural beams on the top floor. I wanted the building number to have 3 digits, because that was what I saw when I looked for some modern apartment inspiration. So the number I'm using is 102 and 103 because of the angled number instead of using 1. Okay, hear me out. I just wanted some structures and not use plain single line with number 1. So please don't look for the building 101 hee. Anyways, moving to the inside of our apartment, I'm using a light wood flooring. We want that modern feel to this apartment, so white walls and light floors is a must. If you want to save money, don't add flooring to the left building since we will just close that off. For the first floor, I'm gonna use the L-shaped plain staircase and put it on the back of the building. We have a decent amount of space left, so I decided to close off the reception/small office for the staff of the building. So this is a 2x3 front office. I'm gonna add a cheap door and open window for the receptionist.
1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3. 너 그래 너 요새 너 조금 이상해졌어 자꾸만 시도 때도 없이 시무룩하고 고민이 생겼니 초등학교 영어 수업 시간에 배웠었던 현재 진행형 같아 하루에 10번 내 맘이 움직여 이상하고 아름다운 느낌이 좋아 걱정되고 보고 싶은 이런
I'm gonna add a seating area over here. Maybe there would be customers who are interested in seeing the apartment rooms to rent, so they would wait here for the staff. Now on the other side, we are adding a mailbox for the tenants. So I'm using this square cubby shelf. And since it is a bit low, I'm placing a basic cube underneath. Resize the cube as the width of the cubby shelf. And then place the shelf on top. I'm gonna color this to metal gray to make it look stainless mailbox. Now before closing this off, we will add some paper piles, and I will color this a bit yellowish shade to make it look like mailing envelopes. Then rescale the basic cube below to cover up the open shelf, and there we have a mailbox with some mails inside. To add some more detail, place a doorbell and color the frame the same as the mailbox. I actually had difficulty placing this doorbells because there are papers we added. But patience is the key when placing each on every locker door. If you want to add more inside this mailbox locker, feel free to do so. I'm also going to add some few more clutters in here since it still looks empty. Although apartment buildings don't really have anything to showcase, and it is quite empty looking in real life. Okay, let's add some windows to this building, and I'm using this square plain window. This is also what we will be using in the rooms. So instead of coloring this plain white, I'm gonna color this the same as the entrance door to match the window frames and door frame. Place 3 windows in the middle of each floor. So this will be the front window of our studio apartment. Okay, now let's add the upper levels of our apartment. Since we have a small space for many apartment rooms in each floor, I'm gonna use this whole floor for one studio apartment. And then we will use this deck stairs, since it is just a straight staircase that doesn't add much to the extra space. Copy the flooring tiles as well. This is what we will be using inside the apartment room as well. Now add some wall partition to make a 4x4 square room. Leave a 1x2 square for the small bathroom. So I made the bathroom floor separate from the rest of the flooring we have in the room. I already changed the texture to tiles as well as the side walls. I won't close the bathroom wall yet, since we will have difficulty adding the plumbing items later in this small bathroom. Just like how I did with the second floor, just copy the layout to the third floor. If you noticed, we have 4 floors in this apartment, but since this building has a number on the top floor, adding a window to that level would not make the exterior look good. So I'm just adding a floor to the 4th level to cover up and make the ceiling for the 3rd floor room. The exterior building is definitely plain, and since there is a gap in between the 2 apartment building, I decided to add a fence design using the small hedge. Color this the same as the awning from the entrance door. And then add this fence railing to the 2nd, 3rd, and 4th level. Now, as I mentioned earlier, I will be closing off this left building because it looks weird to have someone open this and not find anything. So I used a basic cube and rescaled it to fit the door and just cover that up. As for the windows, I'm gonna use vertical planks to cover the 3 windows. If you watch the other parts of this series, I used to cover the empty windows with privacy blinds. But for this windows, I decided to just use the plank and copy the color and texture with the basic shape I covered in the entrance door. Okay, now moving to the main apartment, we will make the 2nd floor room first. I'm gonna make the bathroom first, so we can copy this to the 3rd floor as well.
걱정되고 보고 싶은 이런 기분은 현재 진행형 사실은 나도 뭐가 뭔지 잘 모르겠어 어쩌다 우리 여기까지 알 수 없는
I'm gonna copy the bathroom we made from the 2nd floor to the 3rd floor. And then close it off. Because our bathroom is small, I'm gonna use this sleek sliding door. Then color the door with white and plastic texture. Now for the main door, we will use a fence gate door, so we have to add a fence to the wall. You will need an advanced placing Gamepass to add the fence through the wall. So color the fence first before placing it through the wall because it would be difficult to change the color once it is inside the wall. Then add a door frame and the modern panel gate in the middle of the door. I colored the door white at first, and then I saw Korean apartment doors are a bit dark gray color. So I'm gonna color the smoky gray but leave the door frame to white. Don't forget to rescale the door frame so it matches the size of the main door. You can now duplicate this to the upper floor. Make sure to add 2 lines of the fence so you can place the door in the middle. I'm gonna add a ceiling trim and use this flat crown molding. Add this all around the apartment. Since this is a small studio apartment, we will add the kitchen on this corner. So I will be using this modern counter and place it like an L shape. This retro fridge is perfect in here. Since we only have 2 counters, this would be for the kitchen sink and the other is for the electric stove. I'm gonna color the counters and this time I won't make this plain white. Instead, we will use a light gray color for the cabinets. And let the countertop be white. As for the fridge, you can color this white or in the shades of white since we want that modern apartment look. Since we don't have a bedroom for this apartment, I'm just gonna make a separation by adding this thin pillar. I'm coloring this linen so it would match the minimalist aesthetic style we will do for this apartment. I also added a window on the left side of the room. Anyways, I've decided that this room is being rented by a fresh college graduate. She likes to have this aesthetic style of room, so I added this open wardrobe rack. I'm also gonna add this wooden pallet as the bed frame because a lot of Korean cute rooms have this style where they use this as the bed frame. And then just add this plain mattress bed on top and color it white. To make this bed comfy, I'm adding a single bed comforter. And then make the texture of your choice. I'm making this plaid texture to make it more Korean bed sheets with a pastel color. I'm gonna add another layer of this messy blanket on top of the comforter. I colored this into a pastel shade of pink. And then you can move this blanket using the transform tool for free. You don't have to buy the transform tool Gamepass if you use it on blankets and pillows. If you want to add more pillows to make this bed fluffier, feel free to do so. I'm gonna add a small bedside table, and we will use this kid's nightstand since this is a perfect size, and also I like how there are drawers that can be used as storage. Since the tenant of this apartment is living alone, I'm gonna use this desk as a dining table as well. So we don't have to add a different table for eating. I'm gonna add some clutters on this table, so if you like to add some more, you can do so.
사실은 나도 뭐가 뭔지 잘 모르겠어 어쩌다 우리 여기까지 알 수 없는 잉잉잉 비동사 플러스 ing LOV를 붙여보면 사랑인 것 같고 say goodbye를 붙여보면 헤어질 것 같아서 ing just ing 내 맘은 아직 ing
I'm gonna add light switches near the main door. And then we will add overhead cabinets in the kitchen. I'm using this modern cabinet to match the counters. So the microwave cabinet will be above the kitchen sink since we will put the range hood beside the fridge. If you like to choose the much expensive microwave, that would look better in here. Time to add some kitchen clutters. I won't add too much in here since the owner of this apartment is a bit minimalist and also to give off the living alone vibe.
비동사 플러스 ing LOV를 붙여보면 사랑인 것 같고 say goodbye를 붙여보면 헤어질 것 같아서 ing just ing 내 맘은 아직 ing
Because we have a few wall space and there is a thin wall over here, I think it is a great spot for photo frames. I also added a light switch in the bathroom and then we will add some hook. I'm gonna add some shoes and slippers by the door. I won't add a shoe rack just because I don't want to add so many shoes in here for the minimalist owner. This trash can fit so well here and just color this however you like. I'm copying the air conditioner from the other building and place it above the wardrobe rack. We will add an electrical outlet on the side of the air conditioner and also add this outlet around the room. Now we will add a power cord connecting the AC to the electrical outlet using the ordinary string. As for the room lighting, we are going to use this sleek ceiling light. As always, I want the warm tone in here, so we will use a yellowish shade for the bulb. So the ceiling lights will have different shades because we don't want the room to be too bright. I always add the ceiling lights on the corners first, and if the room is still not bright enough, we will add one light in the middle. Don't forget to change the color of the ceiling in the room to white. I'm gonna place a small carpet by the kitchen side, and since the owner loves the pastel color pink, we will continue the ongoing theme of this room. Okay, let's go to the bathroom. I'm adding a shelf above the toilet. And then we will fill this with bathroom clutters. Feel free to add whichever you like.
헤어질 것 같아서 ing just ing 내 맘은 아직 ing
Alright, I think we are done with the first studio apartment. I'm just gonna add a fence railing in the staircase and color this the same as the stairs. Now, let's go to our second studio apartment, which is located on the 3rd floor. Since studio apartments have the same bare layout, I'm just copying the kitchen counters from the first room. I also copied the fridge because that is what we will be using. If you noticed, I just deleted some of the kitchen clutters since we will reuse the basic kitchen stuff. Now the first apartment we did was a single-person unit. So I decided to make this for a couple, and even though it is a small studio apartment, we will try and make this seem like two people lives here. I'm adding a dish rack on the sink, and you can place the rack on top by removing the sink first. So I placed it on a plain counter first, and then placed the rack on the specific spot so that when you place back the sink, it would fit exactly on the left space. Then color the dishes of your choice. I'm also adding a used bowl on the side like they haven't washed that yet. I'm adding more clutters like the condiments and cooking stuff, so feel free to add whichever you like as well.
위를 붙여보면 사랑인 것 같고 Say goodbye를 붙여보면 헤어질 것 같아서 ing, just ing 내 맘은 아직 ing 싶다고 그 말을 왜 못하니 후회할까 봐
I tried to clutter up the kitchen, so there's that. And now moving to the left side, since we do not have a separate living area and bedroom, we will combine the two. I'm using a large dresser for the clothes and also as a TV stand. I colored the dresser wooden brown because I want to vision that this couple is not the minimalist aesthetic type. So the furnitures I will be adding here would be this brown or darker shade of brown. I also added some books and paper files on the side for the owner's work stuff. Okay, so for the left side, of course we will be adding the bed. And since this is a two-person apartment, the bed should be accessible for two people. So I'm gonna use this plain single bed. Again, this couple is not good with aesthetic style, so the bed sheets are textured. And I'm adding a large pillow for them to use. I will also add a comforter on top and color this the same as the bed sheet. After making one bed, just duplicate it and place it beside the other to make one large queen-size bed. And there we go, a bed for two that fits the small space. Don't forget to copy the windows on the left side, just like on the second level. Now we will be adding more storage, because for a couple to last in this studio apartment, they would need a lot of storage compartment for both their stuff. Because this is the couple's permanent residence, we will use this small industrial table as their dining table. I use this because the space in here is too small to walk on the sides. I also use the simplicity stool because it doesn't take up space. I'm gonna color this wooden brown to match the other furnitures in this room. I'm gonna add wall decors in here, and I forgot that this right wall was for the air conditioner unit, so I will move the frame and clock on the side later. Then add light switches around the room. We have an empty-looking space under the bed, and in reality there would be clutters around it. So I added a box that maybe is an online order that just got delivered. And a bag that randomly lays because there isn't much room to be placed to. We will also add a custom shoe rack by the main door, and I'm using the shelf. Rescale this to fit the wall and place two slippers on top. The work shoes can be on the bottom, and then color this however you like. I added more paper clutters under the dresser for like old mails that haven't been disposed and a laundry basket on the side. I personally didn't add a washing machine in each unit since there is a laundry shop near the neighborhood. Anyways, I copied the ceiling trims and added that all around the room. Then I added the sleek ceiling lights, which I adjusted the color of the bulb depending on the brightness. We don't want the room to be too bright. Now going to the bathroom, we are gonna add a small pail bucket on the side. And since we don't have a storage here for the bathroom products, I will add a small overhead cabinet above the mirror. Since we still have a space below the cabinet, I'm placing a shelf where we can add more bathroom products that the couple uses every day like shampoo and conditioner, of course skincare and hygiene products as well. If you like to add more, feel free to do so. I will just color this to make it look like they are for the both of them. You know what, I almost forgot to add ceiling lights in the first floor lounge area. So just copy the one we have from the apartment room. And then I mentioned earlier that I forgot the air conditioner unit in the third floor, so I moved the wall decors we have on the side and then copied the AC. Don't forget to place electrical outlets on the side so it would look realistic. I also connected that to the power cord. Do this to every electronic and appliances that is visible like the TV and coffee maker. For privacy, we will add curtains in our window. And since these are all separated windows, we have to place the curtains in each window even though it kind of overlapped in the center. I'm coloring this kind of muted green so it won't be harsh to the eyes. Okay, I went outside and we will just add a trash segregation over here. You can color this trash bins differently, but I will just continue the neutral color scheme. We have an empty side road on the right of the building, so I will just add a tree on the corner. I also copied the plants that we added earlier and just placed that around like an overgrown plant. With the empty space beside the tree, I will just add a dumpster bin. I forgot to add a doorbell by the entrance door and also the room number. So I used the taped photograph and rescaled it. I'm gonna make a room number decal, which I will include in the description box. Now get another taped photograph and rescale this longer and thinner. We will use this as the door code. So just search on the free images for door passcode and there would be a lot of options to choose from. Once you have changed the decal, duplicate this first before sticking it on the door. If you noticed, I added another door on the right side, but there isn't any room when you open that up. I just wanted to add these doors for the purpose of making it look like an apartment building. I thought I was finally done, but when I zoomed out, there was still no roof. I was too tired and wanted this building to be over, so again, I copied the flat roof from the sauna building. Just adjust the height and width of the roof. Then color this the same as the exterior wall. I also copied the air conditioner unit and placed one in each floor on the left building so it would look occupied. And we are done.
좋아한다고 보고 싶다고 그 말을 왜 못하니.
Yay! Our part 15 is done. We finally finished this small modern apartment building. Our town is now costing $848,419. So this is how the town now looks like. We made this small apartment building right next to the neighborhood. In front of the apartment building is an open parking dedicated to the tenants. So we have 3 parking slots here. And then a side road that leads to the entrance of the apartment. This looks wide for now because there is no building yet on the right. So we have building 102 and 103. In between is the garbage disposal, which we segregate. I also added this bench on the corner, which I haven't recorded, but this is the new bench from the update. The GS25 convenience store is also just right across the street. The 103 building is empty, so that is just for display. Now, let's go inside the apartment building. Once you enter, you will see the front office in the middle and we have seats on the side. On the left, we have the mailbox lockers and I super love how it turned out. It looks so cute with the envelopes inside, like the tenants still haven't taken their mail. Over here is the reception/office. I added a cabinet at the back for maintenance items, papers, and other files that is needed in this apartment. If you noticed, the apartment still looks new because it is newly renovated. Alright, let's go to the first unit located in the second floor. As you can see, I've added a door on the other side as well to make it look occupied, but the only room here is 201. I also flipped the door to the other side and look how realistic having a door code. It really looks like we're in a Korean apartment. Now going inside the first unit, this is for a fresh college graduate girl who is living solo. We have the kitchen on this corner and a few kitchen stuff since she is just alone. Over here we have the hook rack and the shoes on the side. We have the bathroom, which is small, but definitely has everything you will need. Very clean and girly, I must say. So yeah, that is her bathroom. And this is the other half of the studio apartment. If you noticed, I added curtains for privacy as well. We have the air conditioner on that wall and her wardrobe rack over there. In the middle is the desk that has her important files and skincare stuff, which is also where she eats. She actually has a great view from here because you can see the town in front. I wasn't able to record the part where I added the curtains and the shelf above the bed, but I just added some stuff over here because it looked empty before. So yeah, that is the first apartment unit in this building. This is the empty space that we covered with the wall and acts like an apartment too. Now, let's go to the third floor. Like the second floor, we also have 2 apartment unit in here, but the other is empty. Anyways, let's go inside this unit 301, which is occupied by a married couple. Once you enter, we have a small shoe rack on the side and then the kitchen on the other corner. Even though this is a small unit, we have to fit their stuff and even add a dining table because they love to cook and eat at home. Though sometimes they probably order for takeout when they are busy at work. I love how it still looks clean even with the clutters. Anyway, this is the other half of the unit, which is basically their living room/bedroom space. So this is their double bed. They also added overhead cabinets for more storage of their clothes. We also have another wardrobe for folded clothes and other linen. So basically, they can just lay down while watching TV or from the dining area. Over here is the bathroom, which is small, but realistically, some studio apartments really just have small bathrooms. They have more cabinets for toiletries as well. So yeah, this is the whole unit of 301. Anyways, that is the end of part 15 in our Korean Town series. Thank you guys so much for watching. I would appreciate your support by giving this video a thumbs up and don't forget to subscribe to my channel. Also click on the notification bell so you won't miss the latest videos I upload. Help me reach my goal of 10,000 subs. This would help me a lot, especially in making future videos for you all. Have a wonderful day, afternoon, or night. Love you all and take care. See you on my next video.